Hello everyone. Today I will be presenting my study called How Jobs and Prices Affect Canadian Pay. This study looks at how unemployment and inflation affect average weekly wages in Canada from 2014 to 2023. This study focuses on three main questions. First, does unemployment affect wages? When unemployment is high, there are more people looking for jobs, which can reduce pressure on employers to increase wages. Second, does inflation affect wages? When prices increase, workers often need higher pay to afford the same goods and services. Finally, this matters because understanding what affects wages can help workers, businesses, and governments make better decisions. The dependent variable in this study is average weekly wages, which is the amount of money people earn per week. The first independent variable is the unemployment rate, which measures the percentage of people who want work but do not have jobs. The second independent variable is the inflation rate, which measures how much prices increase each year. I collected yearly data from Statistics Canada between 2014 and 2023. The data includes average weekly wages, unemployment rates, and inflation rates. Over this period, wages increased from $930 per week in 2014 to $1,225 per week in 2023. The average weekly wage had a middle value of $1,063 and a spread of about $93.40. The unemployment rate had a median of 6.6% and was affected by the large increase in 2020. The inflation rate had a median of 1.9%, but it increased significantly in 2022. Overall, wages were fairly steady, while unemployment and inflation had larger changes. The relationship between wages and unemployment showed a negative correlation with an R value of about -0.58. This means that when unemployment increases, wages usually grow more slowly. The model shows that wages decrease by about $19 per week for every 1% increase in unemployment. However, 2020 was unusual because unemployment increased while wages still went up. The relationship between wages and inflation showed a stronger positive correlation with an R value of about +0.78. This means that when inflation increases, wages also tend to increase. The model predicts that wages rise by about $38 per week for every 1% increase in inflation. Inflation had a stronger relationship with wages than unemployment. The year 2020 was different from the other years because of COVID-19. Unemployment increased to 9.5% because many people lost their jobs. However, average wages still increased to $1,080 per week. This happened because many lower-paying jobs disappeared, which increased the average wage of the remaining workers. Both relationships are examples of common cause correlations. For wages and unemployment, the economy affects both. A weaker economy can increase unemployment and reduce wage growth. For wages and inflation, the economy and cost of living affect both. Rising prices can lead workers to ask for higher wages. In conclusion, average weekly wages in Canada increased by about 32% from 2014 to 2023. Inflation had the strongest relationship with wages, showing that rising prices can influence pay increases. Unemployment had a weaker relationship with wages. The biggest lesson from this study is that major events, like COVID-19, can change normal economic patterns and affect the relationships between variables. Thank you for listening. I am happy to answer any questions.